This is John for the Everyday Fan Sports. Today I have the pleasure of being on the beat with Damien Grey of the fabulous Idols. How are you, sir?
Jonathan, I'm going to cut you off already. The fact that we're doing this only 2 seconds in, it says a lot about your show. I'm going to show you how you properly show respect and introduce an idol. Introducing, coming all the way from the south side of Chicago, Illinois, the Prince of the Pompadour, rockabilly royalty, the Sultan of the South Side, old school cool, Damien Grey. That is how you make an announcement for someone such as myself.
We'll see next time I'll know.
Now you know. Yeah, you bet you're lucky your agent negotiated a good rate. All right. I should have walked off just for that.
Did I mention I'm friends with Joey Roth?
That's the only thing that's saving you. All right. He gave me a call. He vouched for you. And I trust Joey a lot more than I trust you. But I trust Joey enough. So we're good. We can continue.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me ask you, how did you get started in wrestling? When did you get interested in wrestling?
Oh, I've been interested in wrestling ever since I was a little kid. I remember actually, ironically, I got into it from playing the video games with a buddy of mine. My dad, he wasn't super into wrestling, but I went over to a buddy of mine, Tommy's house when I was real young, and he had all the like No Mercy and then the early SmackDown versus Raw games and stuff like that we'd play when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And honestly, I fell in love with it then, started watching it live at WrestleMania 23 was the first wrestling event I had ever watched live. Watched it with a buddy of mine. He invited me over, fell in love with it in that moment. Then I just couldn't get enough. You know, I was consuming it all through my childhood. I always knew that it was something I wanted to do. So I did some collegiate wrestling, some shoot wrestling in high school and college. I did some theater as well. And it combined, you know, I got an out there personality, a good looking face, big muscles. Why not throw my lot in and show that I'm better than the rest of these chumps anyway, teach them how it's done.
So when did you start? When did you have your first pro match?
First pro match was the end of 2019, late November 2019. So a little bit of inconvenient timing. I ended up coming into it wrestling for about like 3-4 months, you know, and I was making some good rounds. I was meeting some good people, getting some good matches in. Then, of course, the biggest villain in all the business, nothing against Joey, as he likes to throw that up there a little. COVID came along. That put a little bit of a spike in the wheels, so to speak. And with all of that, it ended up taking me out of the game for about 6-7 months before things started to come back. But ever since COVID kind of got out of there in terms of the wrestling industry, at the very least, things have been going good. I've been expanding. I upgraded my circle. I upgraded my friend group. And instead of hanging out with those schlups that I used to, I'm with the Idols now. We're making moves all over the wrestling world, not just the Midwest, not just the US, but we are an international organization. So things have been going swimmingly since then. Because that tells you all you need to know about me. When I get something in the way, I overcome it. Unlike the rest of these schlups, all those slack-jawed yokels that are in the fans out there that like to criticize my methods, it's just because they can't get it done, baby. They ain't got what it takes.
Well, we'll get to the fabulous Idols in just a minute, but when your first match or your first few matches, obviously the fans adored you. How did you feel, you know, in your first match, like that you're actually doing what you wanted to do?
You know what? Honestly, going into the first match, I was so dang nervous that I didn't even take the time to really absorb it. First match I ever wrestled, I actually was not supposed to be on the card. I was just there tagging along, helping out. Someone got into a car accident actually on the way there. They couldn't make it. They asked if I could fill in. And that's how I got the get-go. So I was so nervous. It was literally, I think, 4 days after my graduation from, I went to Black and Brave out in Davenport, Iowa. It's like 4 days after my graduation. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any gear. I didn't have any tights. I was just there to, you know, carry some stuff, set up the ring. But after about 2 or 3, it started to really sink in that, wow, I'm really doing this. And that was a really big step, you know, being able to transition from what you watched on TV and what you dreamed about doing to actually be in there, scrapping, fighting away, and being able to do that in front of a crowd, in front of people who want to see you knock somebody's teeth out. There's no better feeling. There's no better adrenaline rush. You can't get it skydiving, can't get it roller coasters, riding a motorcycle. And I love my motorcycles. It's not the same. So it was quite the experience to be able to transition into that.
And you started out as a singles wrestler. How did you end up in a tag team?
You know, I ended up in a tag team, mostly just because I realized that's where my friends were. That's where my real allies were. Once I started in the business, you know, you got these snakes, you got these people who want you to do things the right way. They tell you, oh, you got to make sure that these fans, they really appreciate you. They're the reason you do it. Not at all. All right. All they were trying to do with that is keep me down. And I was lucky enough to find Joey and Johnny and Flash, who were able to illuminate that for me, to show me how the wool had been pulled over my eyes. Once they did, I knew that there was nobody I'd rather have fighting at my side, because these are the ones who would actually be honest with me, who tell me where the things were going. So if I'm going into battle, if I'm going to be scrapping, if I'm going to be putting my body on the line for prizes like this, I wouldn't rather have anyone other than Johnny or Cade or Gunner or Flash, any of the idols, even Rock and Rivera. He's new. I get that some people might think that we don't trust him, but that bond was forged in fire. That was forged in fire in that last match. And let me tell you, despite our previous interactions before I got my head on straight, we had a couple spats back then. But despite that, I know that him and I are on the same path, same track. So I would trust my life with any of those men that stand next to me. That's how I got into tag team wrestling. I got to keep myself safe. I got to keep this face, this money maker, unprotected. Best chance of doing that is with a couple other dogs by my side that all have each other's back.
Well, I understand that. And I certainly appreciate the nice strap you're holding there. What about individual glory, though? Don't you have don't you want to go for the big title at some point?
What do you call this?
Well, that's a huge.
What do you call this? Because I think this is a pretty big title.
Oh.
I think this is a whole lot of glory right there.
No doubt, full respect, total. But you know, the big prize is always the main belt, right?
It is. But tag team wrestling is a different art form. It's a whole different animal. And I've already reached the top of that. So yeah, of course, every single one of us is eyeing up every single belt that's in the company. But the thing is, we do all have a plan. We all are working as a cohesive unit, and we have a plan for that big belt, but I'm not going to give nothing away just yet. But that does not mean that my time is not yet to come. This Idols organization has skyrocketed, each and every member. All of our individual values have gone through the roof like a rocket because of each other. So by cooperating, by having this cohesive plan, we are all pushing ourselves to that level and bearing everyone else underneath us, because that's what we do, baby. That's what we're here to do. That's why we're in charge. We're giving the opportunities to the people who really deserve it, us.
Well, speaking of you guys being in charge, I know the Fabulous Idols are now in charge of Rock and Pro Wrestling. I interviewed Bill Shelley the other night. I've talked to Joey. Joey's very happy that you guys are in charge. What's going to happen at Fall Brawl?
Well, I don't want to give too much away because we're still, of course, going to be selling those tickets. But you're going to be witnessing a new era of Rocket Pro Wrestling. Listen, everyone likes to paint us as the bad guys, right? There's a reason that I'm wearing this shirt. If you're going to make me the devil, fine, I'll be one. But what you're going to see is a new era. This is an era of opportunity. This is an era where we're finally going to do away with the old guard, the old way, the same four people fighting for the same two belts. All right. Now, some people say it's because they were the top of the card. They were the best of the best. They they earned their spot. They were just perennially the best ones there. What you're going to see is an era of Idols Pro Wrestling. I've been testing that one out. We'll see how it goes. But you're going to see an era where opportunities are going around to the ones who really deserve it. Not the ones who kiss the fans' butt. Not the one who everyone cheers because they're on the internet. All right, this is no longer fan-controlled wrestling. We're not here to give the people necessarily what they want. We're here to give them what they need. This is bad medicine. This is medicine that is going to taste disgusting, but you need it because it's going to make you better. It's going to step you up to that next level that we are at, that you so desperately want to achieve, but just can't rip the Band-Aid off and do it. That's what we're here to do. We're going to make the tough decisions, and we are going to transform this, all while using this as a stepping stone for ourselves and catapulting the idols to a level that Rocket Pro Wrestling has never seen.
What about your tag team title? You got a tag team title match.
Yes, we do. We do, with no coast. Look, if you want a nice little flash forward into what's going to happen, all you need to do is watch any of those little promos the two of them have been cutting. Every time they're on camera, they're fighting, they're arguing, they're complaining because of us. We caused it. I mean, all you have to do is set a couple little dominoes in place and knock them over. And the two best friends in the whole world, once you take this from them, what does that leave them? It's the same thing that happened with the 5v5 against Team Rocket Pro. They couldn't work together. They couldn't function as a unit. Listen, of course, I am one of the strongest, most talented, best looking, and of course, most humble stars on the Rocket Pro roster, just like I would say as any of my teammates. But what we do better than anyone is we are an unbreakable unit. We are a legion. We work together. There's always a plan, a backup plan, and a backup plan to the backup plan. So what you'll see is No Coast probably come out there with a little bit of fire under their butt, with the fans behind them, cheering their guys, their failures, because it reminds them of it reminds everybody in the audience of who they are. That's why they relate. That's why they like them, because they're failures too. So they're going to see that. They're going to come out. But as the match goes on, you're going to see that team degrade. You're going to see them fight. You're going to see us capitalize on it and execute the plan, just like we always do, and say or do what we say we're going to do, just like we always do. The idols are on top right now, and we have no sign of dropping off, and we have no plan on dropping off. This is going to be the longest and most glorious reign that this wrestling company's ever seen.
Now, you're the perfect person for me to ask this next question. You are a villain. You don't care about the fans, so to speak. How are you with the fans? So if a fan wants to come up and get an autograph, get a photo of you, because maybe there's a fan out there who finds you as their favorite wrestler, what is your reaction to that?
There are fans who tend to like me, okay? But I treat it just like I would any other friendship, any other acquaintanceship, anything like that. They have to be good enough, all right? And I found a couple. There is the occasional diamond in the rough who's able to get their head on straight, who sees the greatness that stands before them and can see through all the fake BS that's lining up, that's being plastered all over everybody else. And when they see that, if they are good enough to be my fan, then I will gladly take a picture with them because they represent the brand well. But if they don't, if they're coming up there, they're smelling because they ain't wearing deodorant, which, let's face it, most of them do. If they're wearing, oversized baggy clothes, they're driving up in some 94 Civic. No, you gotta be on my level to like me. And that I don't necessarily like being the bad guy, right? I don't try to be the bad guy, but I've embraced it, because why would I care what their opinion is? Someone who is so below me, their opinion, it doesn't matter. Why would a lion concern themselves with the opinion of a sheep? But if it's another lion coming up to me, telling me I'm doing a good job, telling me they like my stuff, well, of course they do, but I'll accept that.
That's fair enough.
So if you want to test your mettle, you want to test your luck, I recommend coming up to me at any show, at any merch stand, anything like that. You want to see if you're worth being my fan. All you got to do is ask, but don't be mad when I give you the God's honest truth.
Well, we're going to find out, because I'm going to be at Fall Brawl September 10th. I'll be there, and yeah, I'm gonna try to get a picture with the tag team champs, because you guys are the champs. Whoever has the gold, I got to get a picture with the gold.
Well, at least you seem to have your head on straight in terms of where you got your eyes, and that's on the gold. So that's a plus. The Joey shirt is also a plus. So you're starting to tack up in the columns, but we'll see. I'm going to reserve until Fall Brawl.
So I'm doing okay. Johnny and I was cool with me. You're cool with me. I'm at least gaining a little respect.
Well, I wouldn't say cool yet, and I would not say respect yet. But
I said gaining.
You haven't lost it yet. You haven't lost it yet.
Fair enough. Let me ask you that. Well, I was going to ask you who you would like to wrestle in a dream match, but let me reword it, because it should be, who should want to wrestle you in a dream match?
You know, if we're talking at Rocket Pro right now, there is definitely one person who I think should want to wrestle me, and that's the Shogun, Chris Logan. If you remember correctly, back in January, when the Idols were making our first tear through the company, Mr. Shogun, he crossed us. We went and paid him a little visit outside as he was getting into the car, and I introduced Mr. Baseball Bat to the side of that big, bald cue ball head. I want to do it again. There's something about him that just really grinds into me. So if he ever wants to get a piece, all he has to do is come and ask nicely, because we're the ones who make the matches now. So all he has to do is ask. But we're talking all time, any wrestler ever.
Yep.
My dream match would be the Macho Man Randy Savage. No bigger character. No, he's Mr. Bright Colors and big muscles, you know, the old school god of wrestling, even in my opinion, higher than Hogan in terms of his charisma and his sheer, you know, star power and aura. I think it'd be nice to put that man on his back, put that final nail in the coffin and establish that era, that type of wrestler is dead and that the Idols are the future. So that would be my dream match.
I can't argue with the choice. Randy Savage is an excellent choice. Before I let you go, and I so appreciate your time, tell everybody where they can find you online.
Absolutely. If you're trying to follow the best of the best, if you're trying to get some form of, well, idol to model your life on, you should check out the Damien Grey on Instagram, all one word together, both spelled with an E. You'd be surprised how many morons don't understand that there's multiple ways to spell Damien and Grey. So it's DAMIENGREY on Instagram.
And they should come out September 10th, Joliet, Illinois, Fall Brawl, Rocket Pro Wrestling. You guys, the Fabulous Idols, are in charge. You and Johnny and I are taking on or defending your tag team belts. Pretty sure you're going to win. Just pretty sure, just because I'm still new at this.
I can tell you're still new at this. Believe me, after Friday, there won't be any doubt in your mind who the best is. But I absolutely encourage you all to come by. You're about to witness a new era of professional wrestling. You're about to witness a new era of Joliet wrestling. We're not only taking over the company, we're taking over the world. So you want to see the start of it all? You want to see the coronation? Be there. And if you want any place in the new order, you're going to be there with a smile on your face, cheering the oncoming kings.
Well, you know, I'll be there. Again, I appreciate your time. Good luck. I know you don't need good luck, but good luck anyway. And I will see you at Fall Brawl.
I will see you then.
Thank you for your time, sir.